Very good evening. Welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha Television. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you, and I'll be getting you all the day's big stories in the next 30 minutes. So let us start with the bulletin. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Friday unveiled the third tranche of the government's 20 lakh crore rupees fiscal stimulus. 11 measures were announced today. 8 measures focused on strengthening infrastructure, agriculture and logistics, and the rest were administrative and governance reforms. The government will amend the Essential Commodities Act 1955 as one of the measures to mitigate the economic loss caused by COVID-19. This is intended to bring competitiveness in agriculture and help realize a better price for farmers. Measures for farmers include 1 lakh crore rupees fund for strengthening farm gate infrastructure, a 10,000 crore rupees scheme to formalize micro-food enterprises to help unorganized MFEs in technical upgradation to meet FSSAI standards. Agriculture products including cereals, edible oils, oil seeds, pulses, onions and potatoes to be deregulated by amending the Essential Commodities Act 1955.
We provide 1 lakh crore for aggregators, FPOs, primary agriculture cooperative societies, farmer producer organizations which I mentioned, FPOs, all for strengthening the farm gate infrastructure. Farm gate infrastructure are cold chains, post-harvest management infrastructure, storage centers, yards from where they have to do it. So this fund for 1 lakh crore is being created. Here private entrepreneurs, agricultural entrepreneurs, startups, all of whom are now looking at facilitating by procuring from the farmers and reaching out with value addition to the global markets, don't have the infrastructure. So this fund for 1 lakh crore will immediately address that issue, and that fund will be created at the earliest.
The government has also come up with a 20,000 crore rupees scheme for fishermen called Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. 55 lakh people are expected to get employment from it. A national animal disease control program for foot and mouth disease and brucellosis will be launched with an outlay of 13,343 crore rupees. An animal husbandry infrastructure development fund of 15,000 crore rupees will be set up. To promote herbal cultivation, 10 lakh hectares will be covered in the next 2 years with an outlay of 4,000 crore rupees. This will generate 5,000 crore rupees income for farmers. To promote beekeeping, a 500 crore rupees scheme is being introduced.
What this would mean is for activities related to marine inland fisheries and also aquaculture, this money would be provided. We expect it will give employment for about 55 lakhs of people, and it will help in doubling India's export to reach 1 lakh crores. We also hope that this will bring in better standards in traceability, laboratory networks will be provided, fishing vessels, new fishing vessels can be given for fishermen and so on. New fishing harbors can also be built, and during the ban period, in the sense not the COVID ban period, but every year fishermen don't go to the sea during a certain period. At that during that period also they can get some kind of assistance. So personal boat and insurance for boats, both personal and also both can be insured, insurance will be provided. So this we expect will lead to additional fish production of about 70 lakh tons over the next 5 years.
A central law will be formulated to provide adequate choice to farmers to sell produce at attractive price, barrier-free interstate trade and a framework for e-trading of agricultural produce.
We shall bring a central law so that farmers will be able to have the choice to sell his produce at an attractive price. He has no barriers in interstate trade. So the interstate trade at the moment is restricted. It should be barrier-free. We also want to make sure there is a framework for him to have his produce e-traded. He should be able to engage in e-trading of his produce. So a certain amount, at the moment you know that he sells his produce only to licensees, holders of license, and this restriction has been one of the reasons why he is not able to find a fair price.
In two separate sets, the government unveiled measures for migrants, street vendors, housing easy loans, additional liquidity and other incentives to keep businesses fight the crisis. This is Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV. And Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu welcomed the measures for agriculture announced by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Friday. In a message on Twitter, he said, "Happy the government decided to remove curbs on interstate sale of agri-produce and formulate a central law to provide adequate choices to farmers to sell their produce at attractive prices. These reforms are long overdue and will greatly benefit the farmers." The Vice President also said deregulation to sell cereals, edible oil, oil seeds, potatoes and onions and measures to strengthen agri-infra, fisheries, animal husbandry and micro-food enterprises will certainly boost agricultural growth and benefit both producers and consumers. Rate of fatalities due to COVID-19 pandemic in India has come down. Dr. Harsh Vardhan, who chaired the 15th meeting of a group of ministers on the COVID-19 crisis, said this on Friday.
According to the Health Ministry, the case fatality rate has come down from 3.2% in the pre-lockdown period to 2.1% last week. The impact of the lockdown has also been seen on the doubling rate that has improved from 3.4 days in the pre-lockdown week to 12.9 days last week. A detailed presentation on the present status of COVID-19 cases globally and within the country was made. Comparing the COVID situation globally and in India, the Health Ministry said total number of COVID-19 positive cases worldwide stand at 42,48,389 with 2,94,046 deaths. The fatality rate is 6.92% globally. In India, the number of COVID-19 positive cases are 81,970 with 2,649 deaths. The fatality rate in the country is just 3.23%. So far, 27,920 people have been cured. The GOM reviewed actions taken for the management of COVID-19 as well as the preparedness of the centre, the states and the union territories. The meeting was informed by officials that 30 municipal areas in the country account for 79% of India's caseload. Dr. Harsh Vardhan emphasized that the focus of the COVID-19 management strategy needs to be on the states with the highest number of confirmed cases and the highest number of fatalities. The GOM was also informed that 8,694 facilities comprising 919 dedicated COVID hospitals, 2,036 COVID health centers and 5,739 COVID care centers are currently available. The ICMR said the testing capacity had increased in the country to 1 lakh tests per day through 509 government and private laboratories. The GOM also discussed challenges before various states and union territories arising from the returning migrant labourers and returnees from abroad. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri, Minister of State for Home Nityanand Rai and Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat were among those who attended the meeting.
Let us now take a look at the latest COVID-19 numbers from across the country. Novel coronavirus cases in India neared 82,000 on Friday, with 3,967 patients testing positive and 100 deaths taking place in the last 24 hours. India now has 51,401 active cases. Total cases of death are 2,649. 27,920 people have been cured so far, including 1,685 patients in the last 24 hours. The recovery rate of patients is 34.06%, while the fatality rate is 3.23%. And the latest COVID-19 situation from across states, Maharashtra, Delhi, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh reported the maximum number of cases in the last 24 hours.
Maharashtra has 1,602 new cases, while Delhi reported 472, Tamil Nadu 447, Gujarat 324, Madhya Pradesh 253, Rajasthan 206 and Uttar Pradesh 173 cases. In Karnataka, 45 people tested positive on Friday. The total number of cases in the state now stand at 1,032. Of the new cases, 20 have a travel history to Dubai, 4 to Mumbai and 3 returned from Chennai. 35 people have died in the state, that has a mortality rate of 3.4%. 476 patients have been cured of the viral infection, taking the recovery rate to 46.12%. In Maharashtra, 2 infants were among 51 people who recovered from the COVID-19 infection at Kalyan in Thane district. A 1-month-old girl and a 2-month-old boy were discharged from different hospitals after recovery. Also, joint efforts of residents and authorities paid dividends in Pune's Janata Vasahar slum pocket. COVID-19 cases here were limited to just 2 so far. COVID-19 preventive measures entered the next stage in Kerala as well. The state launched a new mission, Grand Care, on Friday. Started by the Kudumbashree mission, the awareness program prioritizes safety and care of the elderly. It will also focus on those arriving from abroad. This comes in the wake of Kerala reporting more COVID-19 cases lately, with returnees from other places turning positive. Kerala at present had 64 active cases. Chhattisgarh has set up 16,000 quarantine centers in various villages for laborers returning from other states. About 600 quarantine centers are in border areas. The state is expecting 3 lakh migrant workers to return in the coming days. Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel has appealed to the returning people to compulsorily follow quarantine rules in their villages. No COVID-19 related deaths have been reported in Chhattisgarh. The state has a recovery rate of 93%. Meanwhile, Uttar Pradesh has decided to not charge train fare from migrant workers returning or going away from the state. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has ordered a massive campaign in every village and wards in cities to identify people who haven't got food or rations so far in the state. For the next 2 months, migrant workers in the state will get free ration kits. Till date, 4 lakh migrant workers arrived in the state on 318 trains.
And now an update on the Vande Bharat mission. And under the operation, so far 56 flights have brought back home 12,000 Indian nationals from 12 different nations in the last few days.
According to External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Anurag Srivastav, INS Jalashwa and INS Magar repatriated 904 Indians from the Maldives. 333 people arrived in Chennai on Friday from London by a special Air India flight. Another Air India flight landed in Bengaluru from San Francisco with 109 passengers. Over 300 Indians, including former ambassador to UN Syed Akbaruddin, headed home on a second Air India flight from New Jersey in the US. Akbaruddin, who retired on the 30th of April, is returning to Hyderabad from Newark. The Air India flight departed on the 14th of May for New Delhi and Hyderabad from New Jersey.
हम इंडिया से आए थे यहाँ पे घूमने के लिए और 2 महीने से फंसे हुए थे, तो बहुत मुश्किल हो रही थी। और थैंक्स फॉर इंडियन कोस्टलैंड एंड मोदी जी जिन्होंने स्पेशल फ्लाइट चलाई है। हम इंडिया जा रहे हैं, फैमिली से मिलेंगे और आई एम वेरी हैप्पी मीट माय फैमिली एंड चिल्ड्रन एंड थैंक्स फॉर इंडियन कोस्टलैंड एंड थैंक्स फॉर मोदी जी।
आई एम कमिंग फ्रॉम Philadelphia. So what here Indian embassy is doing is an amazing job. Like they were doing for Indians purpose. Very good evacuation plan. So we are happy for that. We are having emergency. We are having urgent travel. So they filter the criteria. They were giving the preference for that people. Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, under the Samudra Setu mission, INS Jalashwa departed from Maldivian capital Male with 700 residents of Kerala and Lakshadweep. The second phase of Vande Bharat mission starts from 16th to the 22nd of May.
In a significant achievement towards moving migrant workers, tourists and other people stranded in different parts of the country due to the lockdown to their respective home states, the Indian Railways has managed to operationalize more than 1,000 Shram Shakti trains in less than 15 days.
On Thursday, a total of 145 Shramik special trains were operationalized from various states, carrying more than 210,000 passengers back to their home states. This was for the first time that on a single day, passenger count on Shramik trains crossed the 2 lakh mark. Till now, more than 12 lakh passengers have reached their home states by these Shramik special trains, which began operations on the 1st of May. For the special trains that resumed services on the 12th of May, as many as 2,34,411 passengers have booked tickets till now. The total passenger reservation system fare collected till now is 45 crore 30 lakhs according to the railway authorities. From the 22nd of May, limited waiting lists will also be issued for special trains that are plying, although RAC, which is reservation against cancellation, will not be allowed. Also, to tackle the huge rush, Shatabdi and other mail express trains could also be deployed soon. Currently, only Rajdhani trains are running to ferry passengers to and from 15 cities.
And Microsoft founder Bill Gates has once again praised Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership in handling the novel coronavirus crisis.
In a Twitter message, the co-chair of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation said, India's role in the fight against COVID-19 is key as the world works to minimize social and economic impact of the pandemic. During his interaction with Bill Gates via video conference, Prime Minister Narendra Modi underlined the conscious approach India has adopted in the health crisis. He also highlighted how previous initiatives of the government, like expanding financial inclusion, strengthening last-mile delivery of health services, popularizing cleanliness and hygiene through the Swachh Bharat mission, drawing upon India's Ayurvedic wisdom to enhance people's immunity, etc., had helped increase the effectiveness of India's response to the pandemic. The Prime Minister also appreciated the health-related work being done by the Gates Foundation, including coordinating a global response to COVID-19. He also sought suggestions from Bill Gates on how India's capacities could be better leveraged for the benefit of the entire world.
And the World Bank has approved $1 billion as Social Security Technology Fund for India. This takes the total commitment of the bank towards India to $2 billion. Of the $1 billion, the World Bank will make an immediate allocation of $750 million for the fiscal year 2020 and $250 million for the fiscal year 2021. The first phase of the countrywide operation will be done through the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. The second phase will deepen the social protection with additional cash, and kick-in benefits will be given based on local needs. The fund will be extended through state governments and social protection delivery systems. And in some other news, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh commissioned 3 Indian Coast Guard vessels at a commissioning ceremony in Goa on Friday via video conferencing.
The ships include ICG ship Sachet and 2 Inceptor boats C-450 and C-451. All 3 have been built indigenously. ICG Sachet was built by Goa Shipyard Limited, while the boats were designed and built by L&T Shipyard, Hazira. The Defence Minister said indigenously built ships symbolize our self-reliance and enhance maritime security. He said commissioning of ships through digital means shows government's commitment for the safety of the country even in the times of coronavirus pandemic. Referring to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision Sagar, Rajnath Singh said safe, protected and clean seas provide economic opportunities for nation building. 105-meter-long ship Sachet, first in series of 5 offshore patrol vessels, designed and built indigenously by Goa Shipyard Limited, can carry twin-engine helicopter, 4 high-speed boats and one inflatable boat. Two 30-meter boats designed for high-speed interception, close coast patrol and low-intensity maritime operations. Ships to be used for economic exclusive zone surveillance, coastal security and other duties.
And now the global update on a coronavirus pandemic, and Japan joined other countries on Friday in restoring work and normal life.
Japan lifted emergency from 39 out of its 47 prefectures, while major population centers including Tokyo and Osaka still remain under restrictions. Shopping malls, non-essential shops and other facilities have reopened. France announced measures worth 18 billion euros to support its tourism industry. On Thursday, France further eased lockdown measures, allowing people to travel within the country and overseas territories in summer. Italy also resumed operations in manufacturing, construction and wholesale sectors. Retail shops, museums, galleries and libraries will reopen from the 18th of May. Gyms and fitness centers from the 25th of May. Britain is easing lockdown measures since Wednesday. People have returned to work. Londoners were out exercising and shopping for essentials on Friday. Russia allowed construction and industries to resume work since Thursday. Belgium reopened schools after nearly 2 months, while Germany's Bundesliga soccer league is all set to resume on Saturday. Poland has allowed businesses like hairdressers and beauty salons to reopen from Monday. Restaurants, cafes and bars will also reopen with limited capacity. Australia is following a 3-step plan to ease social distancing. On Friday, restaurants, cafes and bars reopened in many places, while schools are also gradually reopening. So far, the novel coronavirus disease has claimed 3 lakh lives worldwide. Confirmed cases have gone past 4.5 million mark.
And in some other news, fugitive businessman Vijay Mallya could soon be brought back to India to face the charges of fraud and money laundering against him, as the London High Court rejected his plea against extradition.
Vijay Mallya had filed a plea in the London High Court seeking leave to appeal in the UK Supreme Court to challenge his extradition to India. UK Home Secretary Preeti Patel will now take a final call to formally certify the court order for his extradition to India within 28 days. Earlier on 20th April, the London High Court had rejected Mallya's appeal against extradition, after which he filed an application seeking leave to move the UK Supreme Court. The Westminster Magistrates Court had already dismissed his appeal. After the rejection of his plea, Mallya has no legal options left and the process to extradite him is likely to start within 28 days. Vijay Mallya is accused of defrauding Indian banks to the tune of over 11,000 crore rupees. Both CBI and ED have been pursuing his extradition case since 2016 in the UK courts. Earlier today, Vijay Mallya, in a Twitter message, urged the government to unconditionally accept his offer of bank loan repayment and close the case against him.
And in some other news, on the occasion of the International Day of Families, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu on Friday extended his greetings to all Indians.
He highlighted that the family system has been an important feature of Indian culture from ancient times. The Vice President explained how family as an institution plays a vital role in shaping a healthy and value-based society. While sharing his views on the joint family system, the Vice President said that joint families are a positive influence on younger generations and expressed that the weakening of this system was unfortunate. He said that every Indian must feel proud of the Indian family system and try to strengthen it. The Vice President also shared a photo of his family on his Twitter handle. Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri also extended his warm wishes on the occasion. Every year, May 15th is celebrated as the International Day of Families with an aim to celebrate and spread awareness about the benefits of the family systems to the masses.
And finally, the Delhi police on Friday organized a virtual concert, Dil Se Shukriya, to pay tribute to the coronavirus frontline warriors.
ये है दिल की पुलिस, दंग है हम सब देख जो तुमने है किया, करते हैं हम दिल से शुक्रिया. पूरे प्रदेश की तरफ से ये पैगाम, दिल्ली प्रशासन को हम सबका सलाम।
The concert was an effort to express gratitude to Corona warriors, including essential service providers and doctors and nurses who have been working round the clock to keep the nation safe. The event had a special address from Lieutenant Governor of Delhi Anil Baijal, Delhi Police Commissioner S.N. Srivastav and AIIMS Director Dr. Randeep Guleria.
हो लूटा लूटा किसने उसको ऐसे लूटा कि फिर उड़ ना पाया.
Artists including Kailash Kher, Shankar Mahadevan, Pankaj Udhas, Usha Uthap came together to thank the essential workers through their performance.
सारे जहां से अच्छा हिंदुस्तान हमारा हमारा, सारे जहां से अच्छा हिंदुस्तान हमारा हमारा, सारे जहां से अच्छा हिंदुस्तान हमारा हमारा. हम बुलबुले हैं इसकी, ये गुलसिता हमारा हमारा, सारे जहां से अच्छा.
Kapil Dev and Gautam Gambhir were also a part of the concert.
ये माना कि हालात से जरा सहम सा गया हूँ, मगर अकेला नहीं हूँ मैं. ये है दिल की पुलिस, ये है दिल की पुलिस.
And that is it in this edition of News Tonight. Thanks so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Stay home. Stay healthy. Bye-bye.